What does engagement in the theatre teach us about our humanity as Canadians?
One of the things that's really important is that I found out is that theatre basically reinvents itself every 7 to 10 years, like completely. And initially I thought we were doing something wrong because the next generation was coming along and they couldn't take all the brilliant things that we were ready to give them. They had to reinvent it on their own level. And what I am coming to understand even more is how important that reinvention is as part of our national fabric. Because so much of our social interaction has to do with the mix of people who have been here for a very long time, people who've come later, and people who are just arriving. And the threading of those personalities, those stories, and those hopes are really, really at the core of our country, and that is the guts of what you make plays about.
Celebrating our differences and finding the commonality.
Well, I don't even know if it has to be celebrating. Thompson Highway, it was one of my heroes. The best stuff he does is cranky, like putting it in your face and being outrageous and challenging. You don't have to go around, cheerleading all.
Paul, what was the best advice you ever got?
Okay, I was in France. I thought I was going to be a French teacher, so I ran off to France to get my speaking part up. I immersed myself in theater and found this extraordinary theater director who was running a left-wing theater company in a working-class suburb of Lyon. And I got to be a stagiaire de la mise en scène with him and spent 2 years training or understanding. And he was disappointed if we weren't arguing in rehearsals about ideas, not about taste, but about ideas, about the power of this scene or this character and what that character was doing. And he was by that time the beginning of a superstar in the French theater scene. But he was still working on nickels and dimes in a scrambly old falling down theater of 1,000 seats where he'd get all these workers to come out to see his plays. And in his rehearsal period, he would tell the assembled group, you have to imagine behind me, I have a sign, and the sign says, j'ai le droit de me contredire. I have the right to contradict myself. And what I took from that is that theater is about discourse, and you should not be set in what you think is what's going to happen in the rehearsal, or what is even happening in your mind as the rehearsal's going on. J'ai le droit de me contredire.
What advice would you give to young performers who aspire to greatness?
Yeah. Well, to young people, I'd say, don't try and fit in. Don't try and create something that you think other people will like, because you'll always be wrong. I mean, the worst stuff I ever did was to try and be nice. It was the only stuff that I might be sitting in this chair to talk to you about is the stuff that broke the rules of how you did plays and sometimes broke the laws of the country. Yeah, we were almost thrown in jail for an immoral stage show in Toronto in 1975.
What was immoral about it?
Immoral? Well, it had nude people on stage of both genders, and they were talking frankly about their sexual experiences. Like, the actors weren't talking about their experiences. They had interviewed real people, and we were having these real experiential performative discourse right in front of it became such a hit that we had 600 people a night seeing the show. And it got so out of hand that the government thought that they better try and clamp down on it. So they closed us after 12 weeks of having a hit, yeah. Well, they tried to, and then we said, no, we're going to put it on for a couple more shows, raise some money for our defense fund, and show you that you're not going to close us down.